What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports as we bring to you our weekly live shows here. We go live every single Wednesday at around 1:30 or 2:30 p.m. Central Time. Haven't been able to go live in a couple of weeks just due to the NBA free agency and the NBA draft, so really do appreciate you guys, being patient there and super fired up to watch the Netflix series Wide Receiver tonight. Justin Jefferson headlines that, so cannot wait to just get a little more insight on the best non-quarterback in the National Football League. Let's get the chat going here real quick. If you guys love the Minnesota Vikings and cannot wait for this season to get here as we are in the dog days of the NFL offseason, if you guys could give me a skull down below as United Mexican State saying, Skull, I'm back, baby. Shout out to you. Tyrell Brown saying, what up, what up? Skull Nation saying, rest in peace, Kyrie. Yeah, just, terrible news there. It's, super, super sad. And, rest in power, Kyrie. And, KST saying Skull Vikings fam. William Dunsmore saying Skull. Blake Wiry saying Skull. And then Ty Man, the Buckeye, holding it down in the chat. Same with Tasty Ranger typing Skull. So appreciate all of you guys tuning in today. We got a lot to break down. JJ McCarthy, could it be quarterback 3 heading into Vikings training camp? Play-by-play announcer Paul Allen gave some insight there. And then also Justin Jefferson talked about Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy, and also gave his thoughts on Kirk Cousins leaving the Minnesota Vikings for the Atlanta Falcons this offseason. Shout out to Robin Fisher as well. But with the season just around the corner, I want to ask you guys this. What player are you most excited to watch this season? For me personally, it's either Jordan Addison or Ivan Pace, both year 2 guys. I really do, think Jordan Addison's going to have, a year where, I'm not going to call it a breakout year. I already think he had that during his rookie campaign. But, I think Jordan Addison putting more weight on his frame and just, having another year in the NFL, I think he is going to be fantastic. And then obviously Ivan Pace, one of the best, linebackers in the league last season. I think he's just going to continue to develop. And I could really see him having a Pro Bowl, maybe even an all-pro caliber season. But Blake Wiry saying if J.J. McCarthy isn't quarterback 2, I'd rather have Hall over Mullins. Interesting point there. I'll give you guys my thoughts on that here in a little bit, but I don't hate that idea. PTLRG saying Skull since 1972. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. You've been through a lot as a Vikings fan, no doubt about it. But Blake Ryrie saying I'm excited when we sign Stephon Gilmore. Yeah, I hope so. That'll be a great pickup for the Vikes. PTLRG saying love to see Jones improving the run game. Yeah, we'll talk about that on my bold prediction video where I do think the Vikings have a way better run game. And then also Z Cool. What's up, Z Cool? Welcome in, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. But you guys let me know, what is your bold prediction for the Vikings next season? I'm going to have 5 bold predictions coming your guys' way in about 25 minutes or so. So stay tuned for that as want to have some fun on today's show as, no real news or rumors pieces are, truly coming out around the Minnesota Vikings. But want to look kind of a little preview for the season. As Robin Fisher saying, will J.J. McCarthy be quarterback 2? We'll talk about that here in a little bit. I'm going to assume so. I really don't see a reason to have him be quarterback 3. I think, if Sam Darnold, knock on wood, like if something were to happen to him, like he gets abducted by aliens or whatever, I'll never use the I word, for him. But, let's just say something happens to him. I could see Vikings heading the Nick Mullins route. I just don't think that would be the best call. I'd rather just throw J.J. McCarthy into the fire, even though I have been in the camp that J.J. McCarthy should sit the entire year 1. But we're also going to be getting into a mailbag here in about 40 minutes or so. So if you guys have a question you guys want to ask me, send in a super chat. It skips the line. You will be the first question we talk about on the mailbag or in the live chat right now. If you guys just use hashtag Vikings on your comment, it pulls to our software, and you guys will have your name, your profile pic, and your question up on screen next to me. So if you guys could, I would really appreciate it. Get a question in there. Hashtag Vikings, Skull Nation, Blake Wiry, and PTLRG. If you guys could, I would really appreciate it. Get your question in there, or also get your bold prediction like Z Cool. I love that. Just add hashtag Vikings, and we'll chop it up, and you guys will be right up on screen next to me. And then, of course, super chatting is a great way to support the show as well. Keeps the lights on here at Chat Sports. And plus, if you guys just want to, help us continue to grow this Vikings Now channel, it's a dollar icon at the bottom of the chat. I would really, really appreciate it. But Blake Wyrie saying we finished this with the second best offense and a defense that is in the top half. That is definitely a bold prediction. Obviously with some question marks at the quarterback position, like that would be huge. The Vikings had a top 2 offense, no doubt about it. But United Mexican State saying hashtag Vikings get that purple Kool-Aid. Love that. Appreciate you guys tuning in. But coming up on today's program, we're going to be talking about the latest around this football team as J.J. McCarthy, Paul Allen actually suggested that he is going to be quarterback 3 heading into training camp. Then I got 5 bold predictions for you guys. And then, like I said, we will have a mailbag coming up for you guys in just a second. So hashtag Vikings or Super Chat to get your thoughts up on the screen. And then also, if you guys are ready to go, we're at 12 likes right now. If we could just get 3 more likes, we'll get rolling here. Get us to 15. KST, great question. Appreciate that. I would love to talk about some Adam Thielen as he was working out with J.J. McCarthy and I don't know. Maybe Thielen was sending a message to the Minnesota Vikings front office. Come save me from this terrible organization I'm with at the Carolina Panthers. But just crossed over 15 likes. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Well, let's dive into what Paul Allen had to say about J.J. McCarthy, and then also Justin Jefferson talks about everything around the Minnesota Vikings this offseason. But let's dive into it. Could J.J. McCarthy be quarterback 3 for the Minnesota Vikings heading into training camp? Well, Paul Allen, Vikings play-by-play announcer, suggests that it is more likely than not that is the situation. Then also Justin Jefferson, he commented on Kirk Cousins leaving the Vikings for the Falcons in free agency, gave his thoughts on the quarterback battle heading into training camp, and then also gave some words of advice for J.J. McCarthy. So what's going on, guys? My name is Patrick Siepman. Welcome into today's program. But hey, if you guys are excited for Vikings training camp that gets underway in about 17 days from now on July 27th, just like today's video, I cannot wait. I feel like a little kid trying to fall asleep on Christmas Eve every single night. I just need some more Vikings football in my life. So if you guys are fired up for training camp just as much as I am, drop a like on today's show. But this is what Paul Allen had to say about J.J. McCarthy and where it stands with him, Sam Darnold, and Nick Mullins. He said, I would make it prohibitively favored in that it would be Sam Darnold starting, Nick Mullins as the backup, and then J.J. McCarthy as the third quarterback. But this is an opportunity for McCarthy. Puncher's chance would be too strong, but longest shot fashion to win the 2 jobs in training camp. And I don't necessarily know if it's going to happen, but I would make 3 QBs on the active roster the favorite. And listen, I really don't think J.J. McCarthy has a chance to start week 1. I saw a tweet that went semi-viral on Vikings Twitter, pretty much throwing it out there that we're too high on Sam Darnold and too low on J.J. McCarthy, and it's actually got a better chance than not that he ends up starting week 1. I disagree with that. I think the Vikings have made it clear this is going to be a long process as McCarthy just turned 21 years old this past January. There is no reason to rush this. If you have him sit the whole season, he will be 22 this time next year, turning 23 midway through the season. So this will be a process. Be patient with this, Vikings fans, as I can already see it now. Couple clips of JJ at training camp are going to go viral. He's going to have a couple sweet throws, and I can already see the comment section flooded on, either it's one of my videos or another Vikings content creator of start J.J. McCarthy, but just be patient. His time will come. But Justin Jefferson actually chimed in on the quarterback 1 talk, and this is what he had to say when asked about it. He said, it doesn't really matter what quarterback it is in my eyes. I'm always going to make the best of the opportunity, always going to try to be the quarterback's friend and make his job a lot easier. It doesn't matter if it's Kirk or if it's Sam or it's JJ. I'm going to make it as easy as possible for them. To have Sam in there, more of a veteran, older mindset, and to have JJ McCarthy coming in and learning from him as well is definitely something that we needed. I think it would be great for JJ as well. And I don't know if it's just the clips I've seen already from the wide receiver show that's dropped on Netflix today. And also, I cannot wait to get off work today and go binge all 8 episodes this entire night. I'm super excited, but I got big expectations for Jefferson this season. I made the claim that he is the best non-quarterback in the National Football League, and I think we're going to see that come to fruition this season. I think we're going to see his impact just, for the biggest part of it, I think Sam Darnold's going to have a career year. And if it is J.J. McCarthy, I think he's going to be able to step in and perform a whole lot better than if he would have went to an organization like the Tennessee Titans. Number 18, he makes a quarterback's life a whole lot easier, and he's talked about it. He wants to be the new leader of this team. He is the new face of this franchise since Kirk Cousins did leave. So I got big expectations for 18. But Jefferson also had this sweet quote just talking about JJ. And they said they want me to be that guy that JJ can always talk to and ask questions. He's definitely that type of kid. He definitely wants to ask questions. He wants to learn how to be a top quarterback. He wants to learn how to become a problem in this league. And, it gets me to this point. I think there's no doubt that JJ should be quarterback 2 on this roster. I understand what Paul Allen is saying, that, it is more likely than not that it could be Nick Mullins, at that quarterback 2 spot. But if I were the Vikings, my thought process heading into training camp and heading into the whole season, Sam Darnold is your guy through and through. He will be quarterback 1. But then if something were to happen to Darnold, just have JJ step in there, have him get the more NFL reps, even though I've been in the camp that I think it would be extremely beneficial for him if he doesn't need to focus on playing this entire season. I just really don't see any reason to throw in Nick Mullins or Jaren Hall in there, as we already know what those quarterbacks are. So for me, it's either Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy, or it's nothing. I really don't see there's any reason for Nick Mullins or Jaren Hall to be thrown out there. But you guys let me know. Pick a quarterback 2 for me. Give me an NM for Nick Mullins, or give me a JJ for JJ McCarthy. Hey, if I was watching this video, I would be spamming my JJs down in the comments section. I just think there is no reason at all to have Nick Mullins play, honestly, a snap this season. Well, let's talk about it. So Justin Jefferson was talking during his latest interview on Kirk Cousins leaving in free agency. And, my biggest I'll say this first. I was in the camp that the Vikings should offer Kirk Cousins a 2-year, $60 million deal, and if he doesn't want that, he can go leave and test the market. But the biggest problem I had about Kirk Cousins leaving was how number 18 would have felt, because a big reason why Jefferson has blown out every statistical category for a receiver during the first 4 seasons, the biggest reason of that was because of Kirk Cousins. Him being a top 12 quarterback over the last couple of years, he was the catalyst to Jefferson shattering records. But this is what he had to say on Kirk leaving. He said, I feel like he just wanted a new start, a new opportunity to start with Atlanta, a clean slate. I'm not mad at him at all for that. I'm grateful for what he's brought to me and the things we've accomplished together. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and you've got to do what you've got to do for yourself and your family. I clearly understand that. It's on to the next. And, I'll tell you what, this was a complete right move for the Minnesota Vikings. I fully believe that they had a big-time decision to make. It was either you are going to re-sign Kirk Cousins and you're going to trust in him that he can get this roster to hopefully an NFC championship game. But clearly the Vikings brass did not think that. They wanted to move on. They offered him a shorter-term deal with not as much guaranteed money as he would want to. And then he went to Atlanta. He found himself a home. We know his in-laws are from, the ATL area. So I think it ended up working out for all sides of this problem. And, I've been watching the Giants Hard Knock series here and there, and just, seeing the conversations between Giants GM Joe Shane and how they were handling the Saquon Barkley situation as they, reportedly offered him a contract. He decided to leave for the Philadelphia Eagles during free agency. And just personally, I really do wish the Vikings were part of that, Hard Knock series this offseason, just to see the conversations between Kwesi and Kirk Cousins. What was the final contract they offered him? And then what was the turning point for Kirk to say, hey, I'm going to go to the Atlanta Falcons? And also, I would have just loved to see how aggressive the Vikings were in trying to trade up for a quarterback. Were the reports true that Drake May was their top option? And I just want to see the process a little bit more, obviously during the draft, as they actually only had to end up trading up 1 spot when it was reported originally that they would have had to gotten into the top 5 to land the Michigan quarterback. But, wrapping up my thoughts on Kirk here, I really do believe this. Kirk's going to be incredibly successful in Atlanta. And, good for him. He's coming off that torn Achilles. He looks good for the, so far during, OTAs and mini camps for them. And we know Kirk Cousins, he lives off play action. That's his strong suit. And having Bijan Robinson and then also having the pass catchers like Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I think Raheem Morris is going to be a good coach for Kirk as he lives off play action. Coming from that, Sean McVay tree, it's going to be a similar offense to what he ran with Kevin O'Connell. So I really do believe Kirk Cousins, he's going to have a big-time year. Seems to be recovering just fine from that Achilles injury. So, Kirk, I, just wish him the best as, I really do believe, we could be seeing a big-time year for the for Kirk Cousins with the Atlanta Falcons. But I'm curious about this. Will you guys root for Kirk Cousins with the Atlanta Falcons? Obviously, if they're playing the Minnesota Vikings, hell no. But give me a Y for yes or an N for no if you're going to be a Kirk Cousins supporter this offseason. I honestly think I would. I'm going to be rooting for Kirk. Obviously, if it has any implications on the Minnesota Vikings, I could care less. But let's just say, the Atlanta Falcons, they end up making the playoffs and the Vikings aren't there. I'm probably rooting for Atlanta over the Eagles, Niners, Cowboys. Obviously, the Packers are lying. So I would probably root for Kirk Cousins. But again, if it has any implications on the Vikings, making or missing the playoffs or on them winning the division, obviously I will root against them. But just want to say thank you guys so much for watching today's show. Wanted to get you guys the latest around J.J. McCarthy heading to training camp. Then also Justin Jefferson kind of tells all on the Vikings offseason. So thank you guys so much for watching. Give me a follow on Twitter right there. Handle is @PatSieps, and I'll give you guys a follow back. But see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes. Alrighty, let me know what you guys think. Will you root for Kirk Cousins this upcoming year? Cameron Thompson saying... can't wait. Where did it go?
I have a question for you.
Go for it.
In the playoffs, would you rather root for the Saints or for Kirk Cousins?
Oh, Trace.
Which is the lesser of two evils?
Trace. That's a tough one.
I'm putting you on the seat.
Hold on. I'm going to ask the chat first, and then I'll give my thoughts. If it was Kirk Cousins versus the New Orleans Saints in the playoffs, who would you guys root for? Let me know. That's a tough one for me because if I had to pick the biggest rival for the Vikings outside of the division, Trace, it's probably the Saints or Eagles.
I agree.
Also, it would kind of hurt me.
As a Saints fan, I agree.
It would also kind of hurt me to see Kirk Cousins, like let's just say he goes and wins 2 playoff games with Atlanta. I'm like, that's more than you did in your entire tenure with the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow. A lot of Kirks in the chat. That breaks my heart.
See, Nope's going Saints. It's the real Loki going Saints. Oh, dude, I honestly don't know. I don't know because I would probably lean rooting for Kirk, but if it's a division, I'll say this: wild card round, I would root for Kirk Cousins. If you guys match up in the divisional round or later, I'm rooting for the Saints. I think that's where I stand because it's wild card round. I'm like, you know what? Kirk can go get a playoff win, but if it's Kirk to go to the championship, hell no.
If it's like Vikings versus Falcons, for me, I'm rooting for the Vikings. I cannot see the Falcons win a playoff game. That just will not happen, and I refuse to watch it. So I'm rooting for the Vikings over the Falcons. But if it's like Vikings versus Browns, where my sweet Prince Jameis Winston is now playing,
That's
kind of tough.
Yeah,
but I can understand the Kirk people or the people rooting for Kirk.
That's who I'd root for? A tie. I would just root for something would not.
We're rooting for the game to get canceled midway through. It gets rained out. We have to postpone it.
Nope, saying Atlanta versus Giants in wild card. Nope, your Giants are gonna have a long year, my friend. It's gonna be a very long year. United Mexican Saints saying, fine, I'll root for the Saints. There we go. But we are gonna be getting into a mailbag here in just a little bit. So if you guys got questions, #Vikings. #Vikings. Get your hot take. Get your bold prediction on this football team out there in the comments section. Would really appreciate it. Or super chat, best way to do so. You guys will skip the line. Get your question right up on screen next to me. So Julian Van Lanker, nope. United Mexican States, Tom Hills. If you guys could, put a question in the live chat and use that #Vikings.
Hey, if anybody sends in a super chat, I feel like we got to give them a skull chant.
Yeah, we'll give you guys a skull chant.
We'll give you guys a skull. Make a Saints fan do the skull chant.
I would love to see that, actually. I would love to see that. Z Cool saying it depends on if the Vikings are in the playoffs. If we're out, go Saints. All right, Z Cool. There we go. Joshua Williams saying, Low, I want Dallas Turner to get Kirk's jersey dirty for show. Yeah, I would love to see a Dallas Turner sack on Kirk Cousins this offseason. That would be sweet. Appreciate it, guys. But #Vikings, get those questions in there. Z Cool, I'm going to need a couple questions from you. And nope, I would love for you to get some questions in there as well. But we're going to be diving into 5 bold predictions that I have for this football team this upcoming year. Take this with a grain of salt. These are all going to be very optimistic. I'm going to be a homer in this video. Just want to, preface that right there. But let's dive into the show. We're talking bold predictions on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. What's going on, guys? My name is Patrick Siepman, and I wanted to go over 5 bold predictions for this football team next season. We'll say this before we dive into it. My homer is going to come out. I'm going to be drinking the purple Kool-Aid. These are all optimistic, bold predictions as we're in the dog days of the offseason. There is no reason to be negative around this football team as it stands right now. But you guys let me know. What is your bold prediction for the Vikings next season? Get wild for me down below in the comments section. Say whatever you want, but I would really do appreciate it if you guys let me know your thoughts on a bold prediction for this football team next season. But my first bold prediction, and it may upset some people, and I understand, but my number one bold prediction is J.J. McCarthy doesn't play. And the number one reason for that is I think the Vikings are going to be patient with him. I don't think the Vikings brought him in here to start, honestly, at all during the first season. And I could even see J.J. getting benched for all of year 2. He just turned 21 years old in January. Even if he takes 2 full seasons to get ready, or just say he takes the Jordan Love route and he takes 3 full seasons to get ready, he would just be 23 years old, turning 24, entering that 3rd season. So, and also another big reason why I don't think JJ is going to play a lot this season. This guy right here, Sam Darnold, I think he's going to have a big time year. I really do believe in Sam Darnold, and the main reason for that is, kind of a backhanded compliment here, but it's not fully because of him, but it is because of the Viking support system. It is because of the 2 tackles. It's because of Aaron Jones, the 2 great wide receivers, and also Kevin O'Connell. I mean, what KOC was able to do this past season with Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall at the quarterback position, I think he's going to be able to do a whole lot more with a guy like Sam Darnold. So I'm a believer in Sammy Dimes. I think he's going to end up working out this year. And I really wanted to get bold on here, but I restrained myself. I was going to say Sam Darnold starts 18 games for the Minnesota Vikings, if you guys catch what I'm saying right there. But number 2 for me, and honestly thinking about this is kind of half-assed by me, because this isn't really a bold take. The Vikings have 2 1,000-yard pass catchers this season. And I think you start off with these 2 top dogs. Jefferson, the biggest lock in the NFL. I don't care who the quarterback is. He will get to 1,000. But Jordan Addison this past season got just under 1,000 yards, and he had Nick Mullins, he had Jaron Hall, Josh Dobbs throwing him the football. Even if it's, Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy, I frankly don't think it matters. I think Jordan Addison will get to 1,000 yards. And, maybe I should have made this the bold prediction, but I think these 2 will be pretty undisputed the best wide receiver duo in the National Football League after this year. I think Jordan Addison is incredibly slept on for other NFL fans and media members, but I think these 2 will both cross 1,000. Now, I wanted to put TJ Hawkinson there as well. I was going to say the Vikings have 3 1,000-yard receivers, as he almost had 1,000 last year, and he also missed the last 3 games of the regular season, but he's expected to not be ready until around November, so he's probably going to have an 8 or 10 game stretch to get to 1,000. I wanted to get really bold there and say Hawk would hit 1,000 even coming off the torn ACL. But, TJ Hawkinson, I think once he gets back out there, he's going to have a big year for the Vikings. And also, I will say this, I think Robert Tonyan and Josh Oliver are going to be able to fill in super, super nicely, and I don't really think we'll see, that big of a drop-off in production from the tight ends with or without Hawkinson. But obviously when he's back, having that combination of Hawk and Josh Oliver as the 2, one being a pass-catching tight end mainly and one being a run-blocking tight end mainly. I think they complement each other very, very well. So TJ Hawkinson, I also expect big things for him. But I probably should have put this at number 1. I think the Vikings defense is going to be top 5 in almost every statistical category. And a big reason for this is just the talent they've added on that side of the football this offseason. I mean, you got 10 defenders who, maybe elite is a little zealous for them, but I think they're fantastic. You got the 3 guys in free agency: Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, and Blake Cashman. How do you replace Daniil Hunter? You bring in 2 elite edge rushers in free agency in Grenard and Van Ginkel, and then also you added another great linebacker, hometown kid next to Ivan Pace in Blake Cashman, And then you got the safety position. Josh Metellus, one of the most versatile players in the NFL. Cameron Bynum had a breakout season this past year. He's one of the top safeties in the league. Still got Harrison Smith. I think he's going to have, some sort of resurgence. Obviously, he doesn't have the same, getaway speed as he once was, but he's still incredibly effective. And then Ivan Pace, I'm huge on him. I think he's going to have a monster season in year 2. Byron Murphy, he's the biggest question mark. We anticipated him to be the true cornerback 1 heading into the year. Never really got that, but I think he's going to be a solid defender. And then Harrison Phillips, really solid defensive tackle. Now, if Dallas Turner could pop in year 1, that's the guy that I think could really get this defense over the top. And we can talk about, the main reason why I think the Vikings defense will be top 5. Brian Flores. I have never seen a defense, or honestly, either side of the football look so different between a year to the year after. And Brian Flores had that effect this past season. This was a Vikings defense. If I showed you their stats from the 2022 season, when this team won 13 games, they were ranked 30th in points, 30th in yards, 30th in yards per game. Everything was in the 30s for the Minnesota Vikings, and they had one of the worst defenses. And Brian Flores, with similar talent on that roster, didn't really make too many big additions. Look at the rankings: 13th in points per game, 16th in yards per game. Pass defense was a little shaky at 24th, but then the rush defense was great at 8th in the entire NFL. They were top 20 in sack production this past season, but I think with Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard, I think all these numbers are going to go up. And that's why I do believe when we look at these numbers this time next season, we're going to be seeing, 5th, 6th, 7th, 2nd, or whatever it may be. But I do really believe in this unit heading in the next season. I want you guys to go back to school for me, or get in Madden style here. So give the Vikings defense a Madden rating. If I had to rank it right now, I'm going to go an 80. But by the end of the season, we're going to be talking about it in the 87, 88 range. But scale it for me down below in the comments section, 1 through 99. Give the Vikings defense a Madden rating. But number 4 for me is going to be around Aaron Jones and the Vikings rushing attack. So the Vikings rushing attack has been awful the last 2 seasons. And I think Aaron Jones is going to be the biggest reason why that will be fixed. Now, looking at the Vikings rushing stats for the last 2 years under Kevin O'Connell, really poor. And this is one thing about KOC that I am disappointed in. No doubt about it. He just hasn't, lived up to, obviously the Sean McVay rushing offense that they had in Los Angeles, ranking 27th and 29th over the past 2 seasons. But I think Aaron Jones is going to change that. And, Aaron Jones, yes, he is an older running back, but he still has a ton of juice. And last season, specifically from week 16 on, all the way to divisional round, when he did come back from injury, he was great. Rushing yards over expected. My favorite stat when evaluating running backs. Next-gen stats, they give a certain number. Hey, on this run, Aaron Jones is supposed to get 3 yards. If he, let's just say, gets 7, he would have a +4 on rushing yards over expected. He led the entire NFL in that category from week 16 on at +151, and a sizable gap between who was number 2, which actually, funny enough, it was Josh Allen, which is just incredible by him. I think he's the second best player in the whole, damn league. But you also got other guys like James Conner, Derrick Henry, and Isaiah Pacheco. But listen, Aaron Jones has been productive throughout his entire career. I think he has floated around that top 5, top 10 running back in the league for the last 4 seasons, and I think he's just going to continue that. And I think a lot of people, when they talk about, why was our run game bad? It is so easy for fans just to say, oh, our offensive line was bad. They weren't giving us, enough running lanes, to be productive. Well, I think the Vikings running back situation, in 2022, Dalvin Cook was terrible. And then this past season, Alexander Mattison was awful. I saw a stat tweeted out by Warren Sharp, and it was Mattison had 9 rushes within the 5-yard line. So goal to go, 5 and in, and he had 0 touchdowns. He had 700 yards and 0 touchdowns. I think Aaron Jones is going to fix that real quick. But we got one more bold prediction coming to you guys here in a second. But if you guys want to get your J.J. McCarthy jersey today, hit this link, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. Would appreciate it if you guys help support the program here. And plus, you're going to rock one of the hottest Vikings jerseys for the next couple of seasons. So click this link, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. I'll put that link for you guys in the comments and description of today's show. But number 5 for me, and you know what? I'm going to call myself out on this. I don't even think these are that bold. I'm going to go Dallas Turner wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. And, as it stands right now, he is the heavy favorite to win the award. And, let's just look at some of the competition he's going up against. You obviously got Latu, as I think edge rushers are the biggest, threat to win that award. Is it, defensive player of the year always goes to edge. Defensive rookie of the year always goes to edge as well. But, Byron Murphy went into defensive tackle for the Seahawks. You got Terrion Arnold, who the Lions drafted, which was a great draft pick. That absolutely made me sick when that happened on draft night. But Quinion Mitchell for the Eagles, could see him making some run at it. Jared Verse as well. But if I had to pick one out of these 6, I'm leaning Dallas Turner. And listen, I expect a massive year for Turner in year 1. And, a big reason for that is, it's not like he's going to have to come in and be the number 1 guy. Like Jonathan Grenard, he is going to be getting the chips. He is going to be getting the double teams. Like the running back's always going to be lined up on his side. So majority of the time, like unless Dallas Turner just absolutely starts dominating the first half of the year, then teams will adjust. But majority of the time, especially in the first half of the season, it's just going to be one-on-one with him and an offensive tackle. And, the more I've looked into Dallas Turner, like I just love his, bend a lot. Like it is incredible what he does coming off the edge. He gets so low. He drops his hips so well while maintaining that speed. Very reminiscent of Von Miller. Like I guarantee you, if you showed Von Miller rushing the passer and Dallas Turner, it would be hard to find, the differences in between them. So I think Dallas Turner, no doubt, he's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. And, those are my 5 bold predictions for the Minnesota Vikings this season. But you guys let me know. Will Dallas Turner win Defensive Rookie of the Year? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down in the comment section. As actually, fun fact, the last 2 years, the Defensive Rookie of the Year and Offensive Rookie of the Year came on the same team. It was C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, and then it was Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner the year before that. So maybe the Vikings replicate it. Maybe J.J. McCarthy ends up starting, and him and Turner win some awards this upcoming year. But also, guys, give me a follow on Twitter. That's a handle right there, @PatSeeps. I'll put that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. And just want to say thank you guys so much for watching today's program. We'll see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, Jeremy. Oh, yeah, we're live. Yeah, but you guys let me know. Jeremy Chugs, Week 4, diehard Houston Texans fan. Stephon Diggs return to the bank. Yeah. Bills never. We went there. He's never came back home. Yeah, Week 4. Daniil Hunter also returning. That's gonna be an electric game. C.J. Stroud gets hurt. I don't know. Case Keenum. Yeah, it's gonna. As Nope is saying, Jeremy Chugs in the chat. Could you imagine Diggs has the same play against the Vikings in his first return? Like, hit the ceiling. All right, Arpin8 saying take Dallas Turner becomes the next Myles Garrett. Yeah, Arpin, that would be awesome. That would be sweet. But I don't know if he has that type of potential as to be like the best defensive player in the league. But I think he's got potential to be a top 5 edge. It's just going to come down to him, developing into that. But we are going to be getting into a mailbag here. So if you guys could get your questions in there, #Vikings. We need more questions. So if you guys could hook us up, get your thoughts up on screen, and we're just going to chop it up around your Minnesota Vikings. Eric Mott, get a question in there. Cameron Thompson, welcome in. Appreciate you, man. But you get a question in there as well. I would really, really appreciate it. Nope, appreciate you. That's a good one as well. And yeah, let's just break it down, man. Let's break it down. Let's talk some. Nope. If we get to the end of the mailbag, the Vikings do play in Week 1. If we get to the end of the mailbag, we'll throw those in there. But I appreciate you. Paul, thanks so much for tuning in, man. But let's dive into it. What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we answer questions from you guys as a part of our weekly live show. It's my favorite thing we do here. It's just me and you guys chopping it up down in the comments section. But we do only take questions from subscribers. You guys got to make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel, as we are actually still in our sub battle versus Falcons today here at Chat Sports. They closed this gap early on this offseason, but credit to you guys. We absolutely opened that up. They took our quarterback I'm not trying to, lose to them in subscribers either. So, let's make this a wider margin, and hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't already, and help us reach 27,000 subscribers. But KST coming in saying, Pat, do you think the Vikings will trade for Adam? Talking about Adam Thielen. Yeah, this has been a hot topic around Vikings media for the past couple of weeks, as there was that viral video of Adam Thielen and J.J. McCarthy working out. And then also the next day, Thielen was training with C.J. Ham and a couple other guys as well. So, listen, I would be all in on, getting Adam Thielen back here as PTL, saying, would you trade Cine and a conditional 6 for Thielen? I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know if I would want to give up on Lewis Cine, even though he is a cut candidate. So I guess for this, I would probably say yes. But take out Lewis Cine and just a conditional 6, I would do it. As, the Panthers, they did just draft Xavier Legette. I don't really know if they have a huge need for Thielen anymore. And actually, Thielen was on a Vikings podcast that he used to go on all the time when he was with Minnesota. And he was kind of downplaying the Panthers organization and just just comparing it to the Vikings and just saying, like, just the weight room, like the whole calf, like it's all different there in Carolina and not at the level of where the Vikings were. As, once those report cards come out after every year, the Vikings are always, top 3 in everything. So, yeah, I would be all in on trading for Thielen. Think he would be a great fit at that wide receiver 3 spot. So, yeah. Zeke Cool saying, tell us your thoughts about the Vikings secondary. Are we becoming deadly or just mediocre? Yeah, listen, I think the Vikings secondary, the safety position is elite. Like, that's an A-plus position. And, Brian Flores, and 94% of snaps last season, ran 3 safeties. So I think the safety position, I'd probably grade that an A. Cornerback position, you're just looking for guys to step up. Like, you're looking for, if Mekhi Blackman takes that jump, if somehow we could get anything from Andrew Booth Jr., he can make that group a whole lot better. We'll see how the addition of Shaq Griffin ends up faring out for the Vikings. I like that pickup. Not really too sure how high I am on him, but let's just say Byron Murphy gets back to being a cornerback 1. Mekhi Blackman takes that jump. Shaq Griffin ends up being a good cornerback 3. Like, we could be looking at this Vikings cornerback group and safety room as, hopefully one of the better ones in the entire NFL. But DumDum24 coming in saying, any news on the Vikings signing Michael Thomas? No news as it stands right now. I don't necessarily know if there's interest on either side here. I don't think the Vikings are going to want to pay, obviously Thomas is not going for big time money, but he's probably going to sign an $8 million deal. At least I would assume so. And I think the Vikings are cool rolling with Trent Sherfield, Jalen Nailor, and Brandon Powell, those 3 duking it out for that wide receiver 3 spot. And then also on the Michael Thomas front, I don't know if he has a lot of interest in joining the Vikings, as he would truly be the 3rd option, I guess after TJ Hawkinson comes back, he's going to be the 4th option in a team that I think is going to really lean more on the run game this past season. So I'm going to say the Vikings don't sign Michael Thomas. Haven't heard any more, news updates or clips from that. But you guys let me know, who will be wide receiver 3 for the Vikings this upcoming year? If I had to make the pick, I would hope it would be Jalen Nailor. You guys know I'm a believer in him. I think he's going to really, end up working out if he just gets that opportunity. But, hey, maybe you guys think it's going to be Brandon Powell, Trent Sherfield, or maybe you guys want to get wild. Give me an Adam Thielen if you guys want him to be wide receiver 3 this upcoming year. But Z Cool is saying, why do we still have dead cap hits from Cousins, Cook, and 5 other Vikings? This is a rumor, true. This is 100% true. The Vikings have the most dead cap this season, I think by a wide margin in the NFL. Just want to double check this for you guys. As the I believe it's $54 million. No, they have $57 million in dead cap. Shout out to Kirk Cousins for that one. But it's also guys like, Daniil Hunter. A ton of guys are contributing to this. Let me just go down this list real quick for you guys. Vikings, which is actually only 3rd in the NFL right now. I thought it would be way higher than that at $53 million. But yeah, no, that's all true. Z Cool. But it is looking like this offseason or next offseason, the Vikings will have $54.5 million to spend, and the year after that, they're going to have a whole lot more. So the Vikings, even though they made a couple of moves this offseason that, definitely did not make them immediately better for next year, but they've set themselves up for a really strong 3 to 5 year window following next season. So yes, they're going to have to take on the dead cap hits of this season, but you're going to have to do that. And it was something that we knew was coming down the line. I'm just happy the Vikings, they addressed it this season instead of just, kept pushing it down the line, because now you're set up with JJ on that rookie contract. You could build a stacked team around him, and you're just banking on him, hopefully being a top 10 quarterback in the league, and then maybe the Vikings are competing in our 4 Super Bowls coming up. But Eric Mott coming in with the next question saying, Vikings lead the NFL in pressures and sacks. I don't hate that bold prediction there. Obviously, the Niners get after the quarterback, the Eagles always get after the quarterback. But, the Vikings got 3 edge rushers that I'm a big fan of. I think Grenard's going to be in that 12 to 15 sack range, as he had 12.5 last year in a first ever breakout year. Van Ginkel, he's going to be that Swiss Army knife, but he should at least accumulate, 7 sacks. And let's just say Dallas Turner, somehow gets the 10 to 12 by himself. Just those guys alone should hopefully get you to around 35, 40 sacks. And you got guys like Andre Carter, who I'm a big fan of, who, funny enough, Andre Carter, UDFA from last season, if you went back to the mock draft before last draft, before that original college football season started, he was projected to be a first-round pick. Obviously, kind of took a huge step back that next college football season, but I think he could be a guy that could pop out. And then also Patrick Jones. Hopefully you get a couple of sacks from the interior defensive lineman as well. So maybe the Vikings could get around 45, 50 sacks, but lead the entire NFL in it. Wishful thinking, but I always appreciate the optimism out of you, Eric Mott. But Bobby Wags coming in with the next question saying, who is your top breakout candidate for the Vikings next season? Now, this is a tough one. I think they got a lot of breakout guys. I could go an Ivan Pace, Jordan Addison. Those are guys that probably have already broken out in their NFL career. But I'm going to go Byron Murphy on this one. And what I mean by this, because obviously Byron Murphy has already established himself as, a top 30-ish cornerback in the NFL. I think he will be a breakout candidate and making himself a top 15 corner. I love what I've seen from him from this offseason. He was staying late after practice every single day during the minicamp, talking with Dwight McGlothern, UDFA from Arkansas, which I absolutely love that from Byron Murphy. But, he definitely had a down year this past season. But, again, he was getting all the wide receiver 1 responsibilities, and really with no, not really the greatest pass rush from the Vikings last season. And the biggest game that really hurt his stock was the Keenan Allen game. Keenan Allen absolutely just lit him up for 200-plus yards. But, I think, Byron Murphy is going to have a tough year this year, because considering all the weapons that are in the NFC North, you look at the great receivers. It is by far the best receiver division in the NFL. The Lions with Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra. Now the Bears got Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. The Packers have, some of the best young receivers in the entire league. And obviously the Vikings, they got what they have. So Byron Murphy, he's going to get tested, often this season, but I think a breakout season could be on the way for him. But Arpin8 coming in saying Dallas Turner gets his first sack against the Giants. Yeah, I'm going to say so. Curious to see how much he plays week 1. Because I'm assuming the starting defensive line, because you're gonna have 3 D linemen and then 2 outside linebackers and 2 middle backers, and Flores' defense. I'm assuming it's gonna be Harrison Phillips, Jerry Tillery, and probably Grenard as the 3 down linemen. Then I would hope you have Dallas Turner and Andrew Van Ginkel as the 2 standing up edge rushers. I think that would be pretty cool. That's probably your best luck. Or best 5 you could roll out there. But yeah, I'll be optimistic here, Arpin. I'll go, yeah, he gets his first sack against the Giants. Nope, coming in saying, of course y'all know I'm a Giants fan. How do you feel about our current corners, against neighbors Slayton, Robinson, and Hyatt? Yeah, so the Giants wide receivers, a little way too early week 1 preview here. They got speed, man. Neighbors obviously incredibly fast. Slayton's a fast guy. And then, Wandell and Jalen Hyatt, they're all burners as well. I'm not loving the matchup. Nope. If I'm being honest, I'm assuming you're going to give Byron Murphy the Malik Neighbors responsibility, and then you're going to have some, extreme safety help over the top. The other 3 guys, they're going to be an issue. The Vikings are going to need Blackman. They're going to need Booth, Shaq Griffin to have some big-time games. But I do expect Brian Flores, as he is a maniac when it comes to blitzing. I actually think he's going to pull that back a lot week 1, and he's just going to bank on the Vikings being able to get home to the Giants, only rushing 4 and just keep the safeties, probably play a lot of cover 2 deep shells there. So, yeah, don't love the matchup, but you know what? Nope. I'm almost this close of guaranteeing a Week 1 victory for my Vikes over your Giants. But hey, if you guys made it to the end of today's show, first off, just thank you guys so much. But if you guys could give me a skull down in the comments section, so I know where all the real ones are at, and I'll show you guys some extra love down there as well. But if you guys also want to give me a follow on Twitter, that's the handle right there at Pat Sieps. I'm going to be tweeting about the Vikes all year long. So appreciate you guys watching today's show. And yeah, we will see you guys next time. As always, Skull Vikes. Alrighty, appreciate it, guys. Nope, saying Big Blue Skull. Z Cool saying Skull. Julian saying it has Justin Jefferson in it. Yeah, Julian, that is what I'm going to do immediately when I get off work today. Gonna probably binge all 8 episodes, tonight. It's gonna be a late night, but I'm very excited for that. You also got Team USA basketball taking on Canada at 9:30 for all the hoop heads out there. Excited to watch that as well. But we finally got some sports to watch in a quiet time of the sports calendar. But appreciate everybody tuning in for our live show. We're gonna be actually going live on our Saints channel. So hey, if you guys want to get some insight on a NFC North rival, check it out over there, Saints Now by Chat Sports. But thank you guys so much for watching today's show. See you guys next time. As always, Skull Vikes.